Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Making 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 15 of What If Naruto was exiled from the Otsutsuki clan. Remember to give this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, stay tuned for the rest of what is coming your way over in Making 2 and Anime King. If you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, and Making 2 and Making 3, which I post what fun every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and support, and yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode, start the intro. So the last time we left off, seeing the conflict between Naruto and Snatty, Ursa, not wanting her best friend to be sad, talked to Snatty. She explained a few things about Naruto, just a certain perspective about him, and he wouldn't understand normal things, but she could tell that he was going through extreme pain. The thought of her hating him because of what he did in the past was literally hurting him on the inside despite him not showing it. He was good at hiding his feelings, and Snatty was not doing well either. After all, she was hurting. So Ursa tried to comfort her, trying to make her see that Naruto did something wrong, but yet, well, given his background and how he was raised, well, she would understand if she knew exactly how he was raised and how he was grown up to be the man that he is today. Certain perspective made her think otherwise, but yet, she was still not going to just forgive him like that. Ursa made her way along with Snatty as he found Naruto and the 3 Genins. It was time that Ursa tests to see exactly how strong he has become. As she erected a barrier around him, she attacked Naruto, but he evaded all of her strikes. She wanted to see for herself, as Naruto then released all of his pent-up energy that he has been holding back for the past couple of years now. She was shaken when she felt it, even all the way over past the hidden rain. As Katsumi was surprised, as she felt the unusual power. Her father was there, but he was unaware of what she was talking about. But it didn't vanish. Something happened at that moment. Menma could feel it as well. As Ursa looked confused as she felt something else, a distance away, but she didn't dwell on it so much, as Naruto didn't know either. With that out of the way, she believed that they actually have a chance, as they can do this. Things were also getting hectic for the village, as Hayashi found out that another one was here. Another one with a Byakugan that has never been a part of this clan before. This was just getting out of hand. But things were getting worse, as the nations were starting to speak. Rumors have been spreading around that there was this man that wiped out the Sky Nation in one attack. Rumors have been spreading far and wide, as Naruto's actions were bringing more consequences than he thought. The nation was starting to get rather hectic. After all, if the wrathful god was to rise once again, things would change rather drastically and rather quickly, as Hiruzen had to do something about it before things got worse. Time passed as the missions went on, training went on. As the team was growing faster than expected, Hinata was even able to gain some more confidence, as Naruto had been pushing her to be the voice of the group, as she was basically the leader of her team, just so that she could feel more confidence when she spoke to people, and has been working a lot. Even her father saw the changes in her. As the time passed, Ursa was able to meet Mikoto. The both of them became quick friends, as Mikoto was told by Ursa that she needed to make a move, because he will not. With the things that he have gone through, he would not just outright make a move. At first, Mikoto feigned ignorance, but Ursa told her she knew. She saw the way she looked at him, as Mikoto was confused as she thought that Naruto and Ursa were, but Ursa shook her head. She think of him like a brother. He was her best friend since day one, and nothing would change that. The time then came as the team started to file in. Naruto also met more of the Jonin senseis. As their teams are going to be participating in the Jonin exams, they heard about Team 7 and they are completely, 100% mission record. They haven't failed a mission so far. As Naruto meted Kurenai and Asuma, Guy was there as well. Meanwhile, Team 7 was making their way. As Menma saw someone that felt so familiar yet he never met her before. It was Katsumi, going by her fake name. As her father gave her a mission, she was also here to see if there was a man called the Rightful God. She thought that he was a myth, but indeed, her father told her that that man was real. He wiped out 3 nations. He was that powerful. She was supposed to look for him. Her power, she would be able to tell if it was him. Her body was literally like a sensor. She could erase herself and also sense presence that were hidden far deep inside of someone. She was spying on Menma when Ursa caught her. As they walked over and Naruto arrived. As Ursa told Naruto to look, as Naruto activated his Byakugan, she then felt that unwavering amount of power. As Naruto was confused, this made no sense. This girl, as he looked towards Menma and then back at E, it was so similar. It was like they were almost brother and sister. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across and play strictly for yourself. So this is begin this new episode. This wasn't supposed to happen, E thought to herself. That was the whole reason of her taking on this name, Ursa, and her nickname E, to hide her true persona of being Katsumi, her real name, that was given to her by her father. Yet, she was caught so easily on her first big job of infiltrating Konoha in the Chunin exam to find more information about their weaknesses and strength, to gain secretive information about the village that could be used to hurt it in many ways. After what these people did, after what this village did, they deserved it. And she failed. Well, she didn't completely fail, but she was already caught. Yet she couldn't understand what was this man talking about. She glanced aside as she glanced towards a woman that had those calm, Byakugan eyes. They looked strange, but they were indeed Byakugan. She was just so calm. He could feel the underlying power. It was there, but as she looked towards the man in front of her, it was nothing compared to his. She knew that they were hiding their power, and that was crazy because she was able to sense the depths of everyone's power. It didn't matter who it was. She could feel the power of Nagato. It was large, incredibly so. But he could not hide it from her. She could feel the power of Konan, even her father. But they all paled in comparison to this man, and she was sure that this man was hiding his true power from her. What exactly was he, she thought to herself. Whoa, really? She was snapped from her thoughts when Menma spoke up. As she watched as Ursa nodded towards Menma. As Naruto stepped forward and looked towards her, they had brought her towards the household that he was going into. She knew that if she resists, it would look too suspicious. She knew that she was strong, but this man, he was the one that wiped out the 3 nations. As she doubted that she could escape with that other woman over there, watching her as well. Do you mind if I ask you some questions? She had to play a different role. I am not from this village, she said. I cannot answer questions. From a non-alive village. Oh, it's not anything about your village, said Naruto. Then what do you want, she said. No need to be hostile, said Naruto. I just want to know. Do you know your parents? Yes, of course, she said. My mom and dad are back at the village. They wished me good luck before I came here to participate in the Chunin exams. I know you've brought me here, and all these allegations of me being like this boy. It seems like you're mistaking me with someone else. And if it's okay with you, I would like to get back to my team now. They must be worried about me. Oh, it's no problem, said Naruto. Sorry about keeping you. But, said Menma, as Naruto shook his head. Her team must be worried about her, Menma. She has to get back. Oh, okay, he said. Well, good luck in the exam, Menma said. Thank you, said E, as she glanced towards Ursa, who was still smiling calmly, as she left. A moment after she left, as Ursa looked towards Naruto, who was looking at her, as he just looked at the door with the girl that left through. JJ, said Menma as Naruto looked down. Something was familiar about her. Huh? Said Naruto. I never got a chance to tell you, but it was like I met her before, but I never met her before. It might sound weird, but I just don't know, he said. It's nothing for you to worry about, Menma, said Naruto. You need to focus on the exams right now. Can't have you going in there with your mind filled with other thoughts. After all, your team will be counting on you. Alright. But you're gonna look into this, right? I just know there's something wrong. I'll do what I can, said Naruto. Alright, he said as he gave his grandfather a smile. See Ursa, he said, as Ursa waved goodbye. He waved towards his grandfather as he made his way off. The moment he was gone, Naruto stood there. Ursa was able to feel it. You're angry, aren't you? As Naruto said nothing, she knew when he was angry, despite his face not showing it. The rage that was boiling inside of him right now, it was massive. She was lying, said Naruto. She tried to hide it very well. You're better at me than this. What did you feel as he looked towards Ursa? She was definitely lying, but a part of it she believed. But when it comes towards her appearance, that was a lie. I don't know exactly, but I can tell that this information has been given to her for a long time now, to the point where she believes it. As Naruto made his way towards the window and looked out. Are you sure that you didn't have any kids with anyone else? No, said Naruto. Then what does this mean? Ursa asked. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna get some answers. Answers? From where? The hidden ring, said Naruto. Time skip. As Ursa walked into the room, as Tsunade had a small office in a room where she had some papers and decks, which she was currently going through at the moment. What's all that? Ursa said. Sir Toby is trying to get back my favor with him by using my oath as a medic to help people against me. Huh? Ursa said. He wants me to take over the head of the hospital. But that's a good thing for you, Ursa said. I mean, you love helping people, and you are the best medic, as you said. Well, that's all true, but it's a lot of work, said Tsunade as she looked over the papers. Although these medics really doesn't know much. As she shook her head, many of them were under-trained. She released a sigh. Guess I have to get back to it. She then looked up towards Ursa. What are you doing here? Usually, you and him are all over the village by now. You mean Naruto, Ursa said. Yeah, him. You know, who will not grudge for the rest of her life? Will give you wrinkles. Tsunade snarled at that as Ursa chuckled. There was some incidents today. Incidents? Said Tsunade. But this girl came from the hidden rain, and there's something about her that is just like Menma. What do you mean just like Menma? Said Tsunade. Well, it's like they're one in the same. Their power is so similar. They could be brothers and sisters. What the hell are you talking about? Said Tsunade. Well, I'm not sure myself, but Naruto has gone to check it out. To check it out? What do you mean by that? He has gone to the hidden rain. Wait, what? Tsunade got out of her chair. He can't. Why not? That place is being run by Hanzo of Salamander, and he won't take it kindly if Naruto... Tsunade paused as she sat back down. You're just remembering who he is, right? Yeah, said Tsunade. But still, if Naruto does something stupid, the backlash will fall on Konoha. Oh, he won't go starting anything. He cares too much. What do you mean? Well, he cares too much for everyone here. Not everyone in particular, but people like Menma, Sasuke, Hinata, myself of course, Mikato, Tsunade is eyebrown at that, and you. Me? Don't act that way, Ursa said. You might hate him right now, but he does love you. Doesn't matter how you treat him or what. When push comes to shove, you will see that. As Tsunade didn't say anything at that. You said something about Menma's sister, didn't you? Yeah. There's been something that has been plaguing my mind for a time now. What's that? Well, I wasn't in the village much while Kushina was pregnant, and I wasn't even here when everything happened. But she had told me that there was a surprise. What do you mean? Regarding her children. Children? Yes, that is exactly what she told me. She did not say child. I remember that day perfectly. She said children. I was too hammered to focus too much on what she was saying. but I do remember that exact word that she used. She knew I was going through a lot, but she tried her best to be there for me even though she was pregnant, and being Hokage at the same time. She was juggling a lot, so I didn't want to bother her or become a hassle, so I embarked out on my own, so she wouldn't be worried about me. Although now that I look back at it, it was rather stupid. After all, given my state, she would have been more worried if I was not in the village. But I was too troubled back then to notice that. But I do remember that word that she used, children, more than one. She had told me that there was a surprise when her children were going to be born. She did not say child, children. So you believe that she had 2 children? I'm not sure, said Snatty. I mean, I was drunk back then, but I'm sure that's what I heard. But if that is the truth, what happened to the girl? Well, that is what Naruto is gonna find out. Meanwhile, at the Hidden Rain, it was midday. Nagato was currently in his tower as usual, as he was resting. He was currently resting at the moment, not doing anything. His pats were on standby. All of a sudden though, he felt it. Nagato felt something enter the rain. Something abnormal. At first he thought that his senses were going haywire as he felt an army moving towards the village. They were already inside. How the hell did they... Nagato paused. When he realized that all the chakra was coming from one place entirely. It was not an army, but a single person. Nagato could not understand what the hell was going on. Konan, he called. After a few seconds, Konan emerged from the back room. She looked towards him. Konan was shocked. She has never seen Nagato in a state like this since a very, very long time, since they were kids. He looked frightened. What's wrong, she said. Someone is here, said Nagato. Who, she asked. I believe it is him. Him? She saw the look on his face. The rightful god, she said. As Nagato gave her a slight nod. Why would he come here? And why now, she asked. I do not know. I want you to get your clones out, to prepare to evacuate the city. Do you really believe it will come to that, she asked. As she saw the stern look on Nagato's face. Also, send a clone to watch over him. Do not engage, said Nagato. She gave him a nod. As Nagato closed back his eyes. As he created the mental link back with his pats, all of them emerged from their capsule. A few minutes earlier, as Naruto touched down the Hidden Rain, in a deserted part of the village. The moment the rain touched his skin, he felt it. He felt the connection. He could feel the chakra coursing through each and every drop. Someone was using this rain to sense over the entire village. He has never been here before, but from what he heard, this village had been under siege many times before. He had learned a lot of things since he was gone. When he returned, he learned many things being here. This village had it more worse than anyone else. It was right in the center of the world. Nations use this village as a battleground and caused chaos to it, until a leader rose up, as Naruto wondered if he was the one controlling this rain. As Naruto's eyes spring to life, the Byakugan seeing every small chakra in the droplets. It was then that his eyes went towards the largest tower, where he felt the beacon coming from. As he started to walk, the raindrops on Naruto's body started to sizzle, as steam started to evaporate from him. As the rain was no longer touching him as he walked, it was like a thin layer of heat just coat him completely. As he made his way calmly, he wasn't here to fight, just to get some information. The Hidden Rain had only sent 3 genuine teams. From what Menma said, she called herself E. She refused to give out any personal information. And being the person that he is, knowing if this was truly reality and she was indeed his granddaughter, Naruto wouldn't do anything drastic, like dive into her mind to get the information. He wouldn't do that. As he calmly made his way, as he glanced up in the sky, where he saw someone was flying up there. A small genjutsu to hide the person, but Naruto could see her. He could see the outline of her body, and with his Byakugan he could see her chakra. as she floated up there. The chakra amount was minimum. It was a clone. He ignored the person and kept on walking. As he arrived towards the largest tower, the place was vacant. Not a single person around this area. As Naruto took off the ground, he arrived at the edge where a giant statue lay. As he touched down, as he entered inside, he came to a stop as he heard footsteps, as someone was walking towards him. The person stood in the shadows, as their vision was obscured, hidden. As Naruto deactivated his Byakugan. "Who are you?" the person said. Their tone sounded rather emotionless. "I am Naruto," said Naruto. He was just here to talk, no fighting, so there was no point of going hostile. "And I'm just here to get some information. Recently, your village has entered 3 groups of genins into the exam at Konoha at the moment, and I would like some information on one particular person." "Why would I give information to any other village about my own genins?" the man asks. "Konoha and the rain is not allied, so why would I give anything to Konoha?" "I'm not exactly a Konoha ninja," said Naruto, "and this does not concern the village or yours. I just need information about one particular person. She go by the name E." Tendo's eyes narrowed as he heard that. He of course knew who E was. She was the daughter of Mother Uchiha. He knew that the girl was special, even more so than any other genins. That is why Madara was willing to send her right in the midst of the village to gather information, and he was not worried about her safety. Konan had also told him how powerful the girl was at a young age. But Nagato didn't know how this concerned him. "She's one of my subordinates. May I ask, how does this concern you?" said Nagato, speaking to the path of Tendo. "I'm afraid I can't tell you that," said Naruto. He couldn't tell the man that. If this man figured out who he was, if the world figured out who he was, and if somehow he was wrong, well, to make it even worse, if Ursa was wrong about that girl's identity, she would be hunted. If people ever believed that she was his granddaughter, they would try to use her against him, especially those villages that he heard from Sarutobi that they were making a recovery. The village that he destroyed in the past. Up to this point, they didn't know that he was back. But if they find out, and somehow him and Ursa was wrong, this girl will be put in a lot of problems, her and her family. Then I'm afraid I cannot give you that information. Naruto sighed as he turned his back. "What are you doing?" "I'm going to scour this village until I find something about her. And if I don't, I'm coming back here for answers. I'm afraid it won't be optional." He had to know. If he had a granddaughter out there that he had neglected all this time, he failed big time as a father to Kushina. He couldn't feel her children. He just could not. "I'm afraid that won't be happening," said Tendo. "You will not do as you please in this village." As he stepped forward, as Naruto turned to look at the man, it was then that he got a good look. "The Rinnegan," said Naruto, as he looked into the man's eyes. As Naruto Byakugan activated, "Seems you're not as normal as I thought. So you're the leader of this village?" "Well, not you exactly," said Naruto's eyes went down, looking towards the deepest part of the tower. Tendo was surprised when Naruto's body burst into smoke, and he vanished. Nagato was confused as he sat in his mechanical walker, as he had no idea where he went. Suddenly, smoke filled the entire room, and Naruto materialized right in front of him. It only took a few seconds, as Tendo burst down the halls, moving as quickly as possible. As he arrived in the lower sector of the room, as he stood defiantly in front of Nagato. "I'm not here to fight," said Naruto. "Calm down. Judging from who you are, I believe I indeed have a right to be on guard." "You know me, huh?" said Naruto. "The wrathful god. I thought it was a myth, but you are indeed real as I can see. Able to plunder 3 great nations without battering a sweat, subduing Jinchurikis like they were nothing. Your name has struck fear into the hearts of many. For a while, Konoha used your name as a stronghold on this world, to held everyone at bay. But you weren't here. In reality, you were gone, and many thought that you had perished in the battle. You know a lot, said Naruto. I did my research, said Nagato. Those eyes, they don't belong to you. Nagato narrowed his eyes. What? I can see, said Naruto. Your body. Those eyes are not of genetics. They were given to you. Judging your state, you cannot use them properly. You should stop, before it kills you. You don't know what you're talking about, said Nagato. I grew up with these eyes. I awakened them. They belong to me. You're wrong, said Naruto. Someone implanted them. And if you keep on using them like that, eventually, you will die. But that doesn't concern me at the moment. Tell me what you know about E. For starters, what's your real name? Judging from a man of your stature, I believe you could have gotten that easily. Why come here, and not knowing so much? She's a child. That did not stop you back then, when you slaughtered thousands of children. So what is stopping you from getting information, forcefully? That does not concern you, said Naruto. Now, she made up a story about her life here. But I want the truth from you. And why should I tell you any of that? As Naruto looked towards the man, he turned back towards the dark corner of the room. Recently, I've been keeping calm. The world has not yet fully know that I'm back. I doubt that you want me to reveal myself to the world by starting here. And what does that supposed to mean? I didn't came here to start a fight. But things are happening. Things that are angering me as the moment passes. Your eyes are really powerful, able to manipulate and do many things. And if what I believe is true, if somehow you're involved with Mother Uchiha, as Naruto saw a slight reaction, anyone else would have missed it, but because of Subiakan he saw it. You do know him, said Naruto. 12 years ago, the nine-tailed fox attacked the village. The beast told me that Mother Uchiha was the one that forced him to attack the village, which is strange considering that Mother Uchiha should have died a long time ago. But judging from your eyes, somehow I believe that you're involved with this. So, I would like you to tell me what exactly happened that night. And how did E exactly come to this village? Nagato weighed his options here. As he looked towards Naruto without saying a word, he then noticed Naruto's curious gaze on him. As Naruto focused on Nagato even more, as he looked towards the chakra makeup in his body, the genetics, he had something that almost all Uzumaki's had. Uzumaki's had special chakra, most of them even more unique than the others. And Nagato here. As Naruto looked towards the man, as he saw the unique chakra flowing through his system. You're Uzumaki. Nagato narrowed his eyes, as Naruto was surprised. But how are you? How is this possible? I heard about why you destroyed those three nations, said Nagato. It was because they destroyed the Uzumakis. You got revenge for them. The Wandering Faction, said Naruto. What? Said Nagato. There was a group of Uzumakis who went out to wander the world. I can see that you're 100% Uzumaki. Your parents must have left a long time ago and took up residence in this village. Some of them did not return, some of them did. They were peaceful people when it comes down to it, and the leader wouldn't force them to come back if they found somewhere else and found other people to be with, in case of love. So you grew up. You did not know your people, or know what those monkeys were like, because you let them die, said Nagato. As Naruto narrowed his eyes, you have so much power and yet you fail to protect them. That is it, isn't it? That is the reason why you left. You were angry at yourself, miserable, that you fail. Now I can see why. Letting the one that you love die as well. As Naruto's eyes sharpened at that, as he stepped forward, Tendo got tense. You know too much. Tell me, is Mother truly alive? I'm afraid Mother Uchiha died a long time ago. That beast was just giving you false accusations for you to run rampant on this world. I'm sorry, said Naruto. What? Said Nagato. I'm sorry that you never got to know your people. To know how much they treasure their loved ones, family, overall. I'm truly sorry. That is in the past, said Nagato. I suppose you're right, said Naruto. But I still want to know about E. Fine. Her name is Ursa. Ursa? Said Naruto, as he smiled at that. She was one of many of the orphan children that were never adopted. But unlike most who stayed defeated, she did not let that slow her down. She became a ninja. And now she's ready to participate in the Chunin exams at your village. That is all I know about her. As Naruto looked down sadly. If she was an orphan, that meant she didn't know her parents. He could understand her lying to him, not telling him. After all, if you were suddenly being asked about your parents by an unknown person in an unknown village, why would you reveal anything? He could understand that. I'm glad that we sorted things out, said Naruto. And what would have been the difference if we did not? You wouldn't have given me what I wanted, and I would have to forcefully take it, said Naruto. But I can't do that to her. If she has grown up here, she has friends. People that she come to know and care about. But that still don't change things. Why? Are you so invested in this girl? Asked Nagato. That is none of your concern, said Naruto. But you will be seeing more of me when the exams are over, said Naruto. I hope we can come to an agreement to not be hostile about each other. You know who I am. I can tell that you have great powers in those eyes of yours. I know that you're not the one that attacked the village. The fox would have indeed remembered your eyes. But you believe this person, Mother Uchiha, which I know that you know. But for the sake of Ursa, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and believe you when you say that Mother Uchiha is dead. But I know whoever this person is, they're trying to take his moniker. And I will find them. And as long as you don't get in my way, there won't be any problem between us. And what if I do, said Nagato. As Naruto turned and walked away, he did not answer that last question, leaving the statement up in the air. He came to a stop. What's your name? He asked. And don't lie to me now, said Naruto. I'm afraid I can't tell you that. The man that is supposed to rule this village. His name is Hanzo, I believe, said Naruto. I'm not fully caught up in the politics of this world. So that means you killed this man known as Hanzo, and you're keeping yourself a secret from the world. But I assure you, I will not spread your name to anyone. I would just like to know. Because as long as you don't bring any problem to the people I care about, I will not interfere in what you're doing. As long as you don't interfere with the people I care about and Konoha. As Naruto smiled, knowing that Menma wanted to become Hokage, and he couldn't let this man destroy the village, because those eyes indeed had the power to do so, although he was unaware of this man's true goal. So you know that I've killed Hanzo, and you could spread this information to the world. And not to mention your eyes, said Naruto, many people would try to attack your home, those eyes of yours. It is not well seen in the human population. You've come this far by just coming here once. I suppose I have nothing to fear then. My name is Nagato. Nagato, huh? Well then, Nagato Uzumaki, I hope that we don't have to be enemies. With that, he walked away. As he arrived back towards the balcony, as Naruto paused, he looked up in the sky. Your friend is alright, he said. There's nothing for you to worry about. He then stooped down as he reached and ripped off the ground, which was a piece of paper. It flew from his hand and went up in the sky, hidden behind the illusion, as he simply smiled before flying off. Instantly, Konan pulled back all of her paper bombs. As she floated downwards, she quickly made her way. As she arrived in the room, as she saw Nagato sitting there calmly. What happened? Things went not as I expected, said Nagato. Meanwhile, as Naruto flew over the village going back to Konoha, as he arrived at the outskirts of the village, he felt something strange. As he saw someone down below, as Naruto dived downwards. Meanwhile, the masked man was currently making his way. as he looked towards the village that was pouring rain. He was gonna make his grand entrance. Before he could though, he felt something. Something touched down right in front of him. As he instantly stepped back. As Naruto narrowed his eyes towards the strange man. "Madara," said Naruto. The man looked at him strangely. Although you could not see his facial features, he was concerned. "No, it's close." As Naruto Byakugan activated, but he could not see through the mask. "Your mask is preventing me from seeing your real face. But this power, it's so similar to Madara." "Who are you?" said Naruto. "Who am I? Arriving in front of me from the heavens, I should be asking who are you?" "I'm in no mood for a game," said Naruto. "If you are who I think you are." "And who do you think I am?" "The one that released the 9 tails in the village 12 years ago. And I have some questions for you. I'm afraid I can't answer them." In an instant, Naruto stood in front of him as Naruto reached out to grab him. But before he could, the man vanished. As Naruto snapped his head around, he turned to see the man a far, far distance away. As Naruto was confused by that. It wasn't a teleportation, but he felt the surge of chakra. His eyes. As Naruto vanished, he reappeared in front of the man. "You're fast," the masked man said. "Incredibly so." "Nifty trick you have there," said Naruto. "But I'm afraid I can't let you escape." Hearing that should be troubling, after all, given who you are, rightful god. "So you know of me," said Naruto. "I know more than you think. But I would like to know, why are you back?" "That does not concern you," said Naruto. "Firstly though, what do you have to do with E?" "E?" the masked man said. "I am not sure who you're talking about." "You're lying," said Naruto. "You were there that night. You were responsible for Kushina's death, weren't you?" "Ah, Kushina. Your beloved daughter." As Naruto blinked in surprise. "Not many people know about that. Which indeed tells me that you know more than you're giving off. But I'm 100% sure that you're not Madara. But your chakra is similar to his. Perhaps a relative. But who exactly? I'm just gonna have to rip that mask off your face to find out." "I'm afraid I can't let you do that," the masked man said. As he brought out 2 pairs of trench knives that started to glow with chakra. As Naruto looked towards him, before moving, the man swung the knife in front of his face to cut Naruto off from reaching him. As Naruto's hand reached forward, the moment he came in contact with the man ducked and tried to slice Naruto through his gut. But Naruto flipped over him. The man tried to move. His Sharingan was able to see it, but the moment the feet came down, it was so fast. Blam! His body was sent sailing into the air. He crashed several times. He looked up as he saw Naruto dive bombing him. Once again he vanished. He reappeared a long distance away. He instantly raised his hand as a feet slammed into his guard. He was thrown, the wind was blowing so hectically because of the speed that he was moving back. The next instant he felt something grab him from behind as he was smashed down into the ground. If you indeed have something to do with Kushina's death, your pain will be a lot worse than this. As Naruto reached to pick him up, but once again he vanished, as he was a distance away already. You're indeed strong. I thought I might test you to see if you had somehow lost your power. Seems I was mistaken, the masked man said. Well, we shall meet again. As Naruto appeared in front of him, but the man disappeared. Before Naruto could grab him exactly. As Naruto looked around, the man was gone. It was like he was never here. A distance away, the masked man appeared as he collapsed down to his knees. As something rushed over towards him. What happened? He's here. The masked man pulled off his mask and coughed up blood. Did he do this to you? Said Black Zetsu. I was trying to test if he had gotten any weaker. Perhaps that was the reason why he left. But he has not. His hits, as the man groaned in pain. 2 hits, and his body felt broken. What did you want? Said Zetsu. The man pulled himself up and leaned against the post that was there. He wanted to know about E. Seems like he found her. This is bad. Now he won't let her leave the village, Zetsu said. As the masked man looked concerned, without his mask, as Zetsu looked towards his face, he was angry. This was not calculated. She wasn't supposed to get caught. And him being exactly in Konoha wasn't supposed to happen. I thought you said that he wasn't exactly in the village. He wasn't when I went there, said Zetsu. Zetsu was lying. Of course he didn't go there, knowing that if he stepped too close, Naruto would sense him. And if he was captured, where was he coming from, said Black Zetsu. The hidden raid. He reached and picked up his mask as he put it back on. Are you going out right now in your condition? What if he finds you again? I'll be more careful. I need to know what happened. With that, he got up and made his way off. Zetsu shook his head. He might be powerful, but in terms of power compared to Naruto, he won't win. But Zetsu couldn't allow him to be killed. He was still needed. Later that night, Tsunade stretched as she pushed away all the papers in front of her. As she was finally done. No, for a drink, she said. She got up out of her study. But before she could exit, there was a knock. She made her way as she opened the door. What do you... She paused. What do you want? She said, as she looked at Naruto. I need to know what you know. What? You told Ursa that Kushina might have a daughter. I said speculations. And I was hammered back then. I wasn't in a good place, so I don't exactly know. Look, Tsunade, I knew you're still angry about me. But if you're right in this, that means a little girl is out there, unknowing of who her real family is. I've already feel so many times before, and I don't want to feel again. So please, tell me exactly what you know, he said. Tsunade sighed. Fine. I'll do it for this girl if she truly is our family. As Naruto was happy to hear her say our. Look, there isn't much, but Kushina told me one night that, as she explained everything that she knew. Later that night, Katsumi didn't know what to do, as she was unaware if her story had even worked. As far as she knew, they were also good sensors that can tell that when she was lying, although she had the power to mask if she was telling the truth or not. That man was a powerful man in that girl. She was just smiling like she knew everything. Her father wasn't here. She had to rely on herself. As she was currently in her bedroom, her sensei and teammates were currently sleeping as they were in the hotel. She heard a knock on her window. She blinked in confusion. She was on a really high floor. Did someone scale the balcony? There was a terrace outside, a small one. As she went towards the window, moving the drape that was there, she saw. She blinked in confusion. It was a boy. Menma. She opened the door. How did you get up here? She asked. I climbed, he said. She came out and looked down. That was a long drop. He held his heart as he looked down. Whoa, it's farther than I expected. Why are you here? Look, I know that everything that happened recently sounds crazy, but you don't know me and I don't know you, and yet I feel like I know you. Something like what my JJ has with his friend Ursa. She had to remind herself that the woman was named Ursa, and he wasn't calling her code name. And what's that? Well, a relationship of brothers and sisters. I am not your sister. You feel it too, come on. Tell me I'm lying. You're lying, she said. You're stubborn, aren't you? Just like me, he said. She shook her head. You need to leave. This is a conflict. Conflict of what? We're not from the same villages. You, barging in here, demanding answers from me. This can be seen as an act of war. What? He raised his hand. Don't take it like that. I just want information. And no forcefully trying to get information out of me. What kind of man are you? She said. His eyes went wide. Okay, I'll leave. It's not like that, you know, right? I never had a sister before. Well, a blood sister. And if you really are my sister, I would like to get to know you, he said. Well, I'm not, so there is no reason to know me, she said. With that, Minma walked back towards the balcony. Well, we'll just have to find out. As he leaped. Idiot, take the stairs! As he could have taken the door and went down, but yet, he jumped off. She made her way as she watched him leap towards the other building. It was quite a jump. She was shocked by the leap. As far as she knew, normal people couldn't do that. She could because she was different. She was a prodigy. A born powerhouse. Just like her father. But him. She shook her head. She didn't know what kind of ploy they were doing. But it's not gonna work on her. Her father didn't say anything about this. So that confused her. She would just have to get more information in the Chunin exams. Although, she could no longer spy for information in Konoha. There was too many people here that could find her really quickly. The rightful god. And that woman. Urza. It was a shame that the woman's name was her code name. But she couldn't let anyone know that she was Katsumi. Just like her father, she had to keep her real identity from this world. And she will not stop until her and her father get what they wanted. Time skip. And you're saying that she's here right now, said Mikoto, as Naruto nodded. Well, I'm not exactly sure, said Mikoto. I mean, Kushina never told me anything about having 2 children. Now that I think about it, she never told me the gender of her child. She never exactly told me if it was a boy or girl. She always said that it was a surprise. Wait, that means... What's wrong, said Naruto? Well, Kushina had a rather humorous attitude, and she liked surprises, getting them, and also planning them. Having 2 children instead of 1 would be a surprise. So, it could be true, huh, said Naruto. Don't you believe it's true, she asks. More I think about it, the more everything makes sense. But how exactly did she end up in the rain? That's the part I don't understand, said Naruto. Naruto did not tell Mikoto about what happened in the rain with the masked man and Nagato. What do you think I should do, said Naruto. I mean, I don't want to be overbearing, to force her to do anything that she doesn't want to do. But if she is my granddaughter, I would like to get to know her, be a part of her life. I failed already so much. I don't want to fail again, he said. Did you tell everyone about this, asked Mikoto. No, said Naruto. This is rather sensitive information, given who you are. And yet you told me about it, she said. Why? Well, you're one of the few people that I feel comfortable talking to, said Naruto. And you also have good advices. She smiled at that. Don't diminish yourself. You have been a wonderful grandfather to Minma, and I'm sure if you explain things to her, and she's able to give you the time, you'd be a wonderful grandfather to her as well. You really believe so, said Naruto. Would I lie to you, she said. Guess not, he said. See what I mean? Great at giving advices. As Naruto got to his feet, it was rather late. Tomorrow, the boys are going to partake in Chunin exams. As Naruto turned towards her, don't worry, he said as he heard the concern in her voice. I have made sure that you're prepared. And they will come through on top. Trust me, he said. Well, I haven't stopped trusting you since. So why stop now, she said with a smile. Well then, we'll come by tomorrow for Sasuke to wish them well in the exams. And being their teacher gave me certain privilege. I can also have you in there, where the exam is going on, so we can monitor them and see how they're doing. That's only for the Jonin Sensei, she said. Well, I'll just say that you're my Jonin Sensei, said Naruto. She laughed at that. Really? How so? Well, you do teach them different things, and you do help Hinata with her confidence. So yeah, said Naruto. Well, that's one way of putting it, she said. I will like that. Alright then, see you tomorrow, he said. Okay then, she said. She moved forward and gave him a kiss right on the lips. Good night. As she then turned to walk away, she froze. What the hell did she just do? Her hands were literally shaking. What? What did she just do? As Naruto stood there surprised, Mika, she ran off. As Naruto stood there perplexed, she had kissed him. That was unexpected. She made her way to her room rather quickly. She had no idea what the hell she was doing. She was just saying goodnight and yet she kissed him. So used to saying goodnight to Fukaku before he was taken away from her. She always ended the night with a kiss. And her body just reacted towards Naruto. Now she made things awkward as she cursed herself at that. Meanwhile that was going on, someone was looking down on Art, a scout member of the Otsutsuki clan. We haven't checked here yet. I will check if the traitors are down there. And then we move on to the next planet. He said to someone behind him. He didn't hear the person reply. Hey, why are you being so... He gasped as a hand ripped through his chest. He looked down as he saw his beating heart. As the life started to fade away from his eyes. Sorry, can't let you do that to the voice. That was the last net he heard. As the Otsutsuki scout died right there in mid-air. The person that stood beside him now looked down towards Earth as he smiled. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But more for now, see you guys soon. Peace.